I make over $100,000 a month as a Christian entrepreneur. And before you think that this is some get rich quick scheme or some nonsense, it's not. I remember going into a job that I hated every single day to barely make ends meet, to have somebody else tell me what I could do with my time, when I could go on vacation, when I needed to wake up in the morning, and what family events that I was going to be able to go to be able to tell me how much money I was going to make for the year, to be able to control if I was going to get that 3% raise or not. And being in a position where I was not able to cultivate and build my own dreams, and they were literally being neglected, the vision that God had given for my own life while I was building up something for someone else who didn't even care whether I live or died, who was going to replace me with somebody else in the next seat if I didn't show up for work the next morning. And now I have been in a place where I've been able to retire my parents, and they haven't been able to pay their bills, or had to pay their bills rather, in 3 years. I give them a monthly allowance. I've been able to give more to my church in a month than I used to make at some jobs in an entire year. And the reason why I have to share this testimony with you is because if God did it for me, then he can do it for you. And it's not because I'm smarter. I am a college dropout, okay? It is not because I am more spiritual or anything like that. It is because I understood what I'm about to share with you right now and have been able to go on this journey. And I want to share with you this exact 3-step process that the Lord took me on that helped me to go from growing up broke with no trust fund, getting socks and underwear as Christmas gifts, to now being able to build a business that consistently generates 6 figures a month and enables me to give and live like no one else, to take spontaneous vacations, and to be able to give without even having to check my bank account. And so if that is what you are praying for, then this is the video that you need to watch until the end, because more than just only talking about what God did for me, I'm going to break down the steps into a framework to help you figure out your own calling and business as well, because it's not just about my story, it's about helping you discover yours. So let's get into it. So the first step that the Lord led me to, and that I want you to consider as well, is who are you called to serve? Now, let me clarify what I mean by called, because this word gets thrown around a lot. And I'm not talking about the Lord writing something on the wall or sending you a burning bush. It's something that you're really not going to figure out until you do it. And so when I say called, I don't mean you need to feel perfectly certain about a thing. You just need to, based on the information that you have, be able to make the best decision that you can, and understand that as you do things, you're going to learn and you're going to grow and you're going to pivot. And called doesn't mean right now, like they're 100% sure forever. It means this is what I believe God is leading me towards right now. And I'm going to explain how this looked through my journey as well. Now, one thing you have to be okay with, and that is perfectly fine, is that your calling will likely be fluid, meaning who you're called to serve today doesn't mean that that's going to be who you're called to serve tomorrow. And these things can change and ebb and flow over time. And that's not failure. That is a matter of growth. It's not lack of commitment. It's obedience to your next season. You see, when I first started, I was called to help people who didn't have jobs, like not jobs at all, but like people who wanted to make money without having a college degree, because I had figured out a system that enabled me to get 6-figure job offers in literally my early 20s at 22, 23 years old. And to be able to do that because I understood interview and resume tactics that nobody else was really talking about. And this is something that people were asking me about, friends and family asking me to help with their resumes, asking me to help them practice their interviews. And they would all come to me with this help, and they were able to get really good high paying jobs by following my methods. And so I very quickly was able to understand this. And these were things that were very repeatable, and that I saw other people in my life getting success from listening to my advice. And so I saw what I was good at and gifted at, and I saw who the Lord had burdened me for, because it really frustrated me to see people feeling like they could not make more than $40,000 or $50,000 a year unless they had a degree. And so people kept asking me for help. And that was a really big sign that, okay, this is an arena. These are people that I'm burdened for that I want to help. But here's the thing, what I mean by being fluid. Later that changed. So once I got married, things shifted. I was focusing on building a family, having kids, and I had built that career business that enabled me to be a full-time entrepreneur, replace my income. And then I was burdened for women who wanted the same thing, women who looked at my situation and then saw, hey, I wish that I could do that too. I wish that I could make money on autopilot, that I could have a passive income system, that I could be at home with my kids, that I could travel. And they started asking me, how are you able to do that? And so then I started helping people with business and create their own programs, monetizing their own skills. And that became my new who, right? So when you're looking at your who, you want to ask yourself, Who are you burdened for, right? What are the problems that come up that when you think about it and you have that solution, maybe it's weight loss, right? Maybe you're really burdened. You're like, man, people struggle so much with losing weight and that used to be me. And I wish that I could help them. Or man, I know that I could help them, right? Or maybe you are burdened for people who are lonely and don't have community. And you used to struggle with that because you never knew how to host. You never understood hospitality. But now that you do, you've been able to build a vibrant community in a village. And you wish that you could help other people with that too. It can be anything from helping people learn how to golf to helping them be able to cook delicious, clean meals that their family can enjoy and that gets their picky kids to eat more vegetables, right? You can also think who keeps asking you for help? Who have you already helped successfully? What transformation have you made that others might want? And so it doesn't have to be about, solving world hunger. It can be training a dog. It can be helping dads cook great backyard barbecue. It doesn't have to be feeding the nations, right? And sometimes it might just be as simple as, hey, I'm interested in this. I think I want to try it. And then you do. And then you realize, actually, I don't really think that this is what I want to be. And that is a part of the process, right? But this is the part that people want to avoid because the Bible literally says, by testing, you may discern the will of God. That's Romans 12:2. So that means you have to go through the things that you try. You have to learn some information. And some of it is going to get you closer to where you want to be. Some of it is going to seem like it pulls you further away. But even that pulling is actually a pushing you closer because you've been able to learn information, right? And so for me, in my own story right now, I have been able to help and really am burdened for helping Christians understand wealth and entrepreneurship from a biblical perspective. And that evolved over time through testing and learning. So that's the first step that you have to make is understand who you are called to serve. Now, the second thing you want to figure out is how you're called to serve them. Because see, the thing about money that people don't understand is all money is value. It's just a representation of value. And the people who make the most money in the world are the people who either get the largest amounts of value to a small quantity of people or either smaller quantities of value to an extremely large number of people, and then any number of combinations in between that. So if you want to make a lot of money, what you're really saying is, I want to provide a lot of value to someone else. I want to solve a lot of problems for other people, or I want to solve really big problems for other people. And so let's say that I'm burdened with what I am now, right? Helping people to be wealthy biblically, to understand, be biblically financially literate, to understand how to make money as Christians. There are a lot of ways that I could pursue that, right? So option one, I could go back to school. I could get a degree. I could become a financial advisor. Option number two, I could go the Dave Ramsey route. I could focus on helping people with budgeting and do like church conferences and things like that. Option number three, I could open up a nonprofit that gives resources to Christians for free and do a lot of fundraising in order to get money. Option four, I could open up a coaching program to help certify Christian coaches and create a program that gets more people out there actually teaching financial literacy, right? So you see, there are a lot of ways that you can actually serve the same who, but how do you know which route to go? And this is a discernment process. What you want to think about is which one has God uniquely designed and equipped you to be able to do. So this can be as simple as thinking, oh, well, I'm interested in that one, or I'm drawn to that, or that seems interesting, or I'm curious and I would like to learn more. It's not going to be something that's going to drop down from the sky, because if you are just starting this process, you don't have enough information to really know what you're really going to like and not like, what you're going to be good at and not be good at. It is one of those things where you aren't going to know until you get into it. So don't try to spend so much time figuring out beforehand. You're going to find out way easier by just doing it and then being able to see how you like it or how you don't. And so this is where you're going to get the information from actually doing it. So for me, this was not a one-stop shop to end up here on my comfy chair before you. Okay. I used to have a blog, and then at the time I realized I didn't really like what I was writing and like what I was writing about. And then I decided to change. And how did I know that? Because I did it. And then I used to have a coaching program, and I realized very quickly I didn't like the upkeep of having to get on calls regularly. There are some people that I know who are entrepreneurs and friends that I have that love coaching. They get so energized by talking to people and by the meetings. It's their favorite part of their work. But for me, I found that it was very draining. And so I liked something where I could record it once. I have ADHD and I get in hyper focus. And so when I'm obsessed with something, I can do it endlessly for give me like a week, 2 weeks straight. After that, I probably never want to talk about it again. And so when I realized I could create a course one time in a matter of days or weeks, depending on the course, and then I could sell it on autopilot passively, make money in my sleep, I was like, boom, sign me up, because I needed a system that didn't require me to be on all of the time. And that is for me. For other people, that type of work would be not fulfilling for them whatsoever. For some people, they're called to do more of a nonprofit thing because they don't want to charge. They're really uncomfortable with charging for their work and for their time. And so you have to think about what is it that you actually want. You can also think about the season of life that you're in, because depending on what season you're in, what you want to sign up to do may be very different. So when I first started creating online courses, I was wanting to focus on being a wife and being a mom. I was planning on having kids and on homeschooling and homesteading. And so I was looking for location freedom. I wanted to be able to travel anywhere in the world. I wanted financial freedom to be able to make an uncapped amount of income for generational wealth for my family. I wanted time freedom so that I could have a relatively passive income, because the majority of my time was going to be focused on raising children. And I wanted it to be something I was excited about, something where I genuinely wanted to help specific people. And so I knew that I did not want to have to deal with physical products, with shipments, with inventory, with all of that stuff. And so digital products checked all of my boxes. Now, I'm not trying to sell you on digital products. I'm explaining how I got to my own conclusion for what was good for me. And that might not be good for you. Everyone is not meant to create an online course or digital products, but your how might require physical products, right? So maybe your thing in life is you want to help people to be able to cook and be the best barbecue pit masters, but you have an invention you created that changes how people can actually roast and do the smoking process. Well, then you are going to be called to do something more with a physical product, because that's going to be the best way that you can serve your calling and do what God has called for you to do. And so the principle is that the how has to match your gifts. It has to match your season of life and your design. Do not say that the way that you want to serve helping single women be able to get married and find godly husbands is through creating content on YouTube and a course. If you hate posting content, you hate recording, and you hate teaching, then that probably is not going to be aligned for you. But maybe you love one-on-ones, maybe you love small groups, and maybe going to your church and partnering with someone who loves teaching and being able to provide or like recommend books or help with the curriculum in the background and have somebody else do the teaching would be more suited for you. Now, with steps 1 and 2, those are great, but they really don't matter if you don't have step 3. And step 3 is actually where most people fail. Many people can get through step 1 and figuring out who they're called to serve. Many people can even do step 2 and pick a method to serve them in a vehicle to get to that destination. But everybody who ends up failing at step 3, which is decide and do the work. Okay. The word decide literally means to cut off all other options. You have to stop looking around. You have to stop with shiny object syndrome and jumping from thing to thing to thing. You have to stop looking here and there and second guessing and doubting yourself every single moment, constantly worrying if you missed the boat, if you should do this instead. Oh, wait, is this dying? Is the market changing? Is this too saturated now? Once you pick something, you need to commit to a minimum of doing that thing for at least a year, not a month, not 3 months, not 6 months, 1 year. And this is essential because the way our minds get information and understand things that we actually take is by doing. And when you just read a bunch of books and a bunch of videos, your brain actually does not remember most of it because it has no reason to apply it. But when you're doing it and you allow yourself to learn and look it up as you're about to apply it is when you're going to get the most out of it. And so you have to be able to implement and understand what you're actually doing. And so do not do this the hard way. I'm going to tell you the easy way, and I'm going to tell you the hard way, okay? The hard way is you figure it out yourself and you tell yourself, I'm going to just save money and I'm going to figure it out. I'm just going to watch a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff online. And what you're going to do is you're going to pay, but you're just going to pay in your time. You're going to pay by all the wasted time and the people who will not potentially be around by the time you do end up figuring it out will be the biggest regret of your life. And I'm telling you that because I've had many conversations with people who were telling me that once they actually applied and they were successful clients that I worked with who are living their dream life and in their dream business, that the only thing they wish they said is they would have done it sooner and that they wouldn't have wasted time trying to figure it out on their own. And so I'm going to tell you the easy way, okay? You're going to find somebody who's doing what you want to do. If you want to write a book, go find somebody who's an author. If you want to be a movie director, if you want to build a physical product business, whatever you want to do, find somebody who's doing the thing that you want to do and who lives the life that you want to live, right? So don't make sure that if you are a mom and you want to be at home with your kids, you're trying to grow a family, that you're not following somebody who believes in hustling and grinding in 60-hour work weeks, right? So I work 5 hours a week. That is my prerogative. That's important to me because I have other things that the Lord's calling me to do that I needed something that was going to be able to be a more passive income stream. And so you want to think about who makes the impact the way that you would want to make, right? For me as a Christian, it's important that they're doing business with integrity and with honesty, and learn from them. Okay. Be willing to invest, but remember that you're either going to pay with your money or you're going to pay with your time. And so option one is you're going to spend years trying to figure it out, and maybe you will, maybe you won't, but it's going to cost you time that you're never going to get back. Or option two is that you're going to be able to fast track your way to those results, get there faster with less pain, and get there with someone who has already made the mistakes ahead of time and can help you to navigate through them. Okay. And so how did I end up making 100K a month? Well, this is exactly what I did. I implemented these steps. I found my market. At first, that was helping people with no resume and no degree and helping them to be able to get high paying jobs. After that, that was helping people create their own online business. I figured out my how, the best how for me. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried drop shipping. I tried blogging. I tried all this stuff. And the best thing for me was creating an online course that could sell while I am sleeping. And then I found a program that taught me some of the basic things that I needed to learn in order to do it. And I learned from someone who had some of the pieces. And then through my own experience, through applying biblical principles, I was able to completely transform it and turn it into something that now enables me to make over $100,000 a month. And then I decided, once I decided that I was going to do course creation, I committed. I found the courses and the coaches. I decided not to do anything else until this was successful. And within my first month of fully committing and implementing, I literally made over $30,000. And within 8 months, I had been able to build a 7-figure business and became a millionaire at the age of 25. And I'm not saying it's going to happen that quickly for you. But what I am saying is that is the power of learning and deciding and committing, is that when you choose something, and it's also the power of choosing something that you are naturally equipped for. I don't believe, and I didn't, when I had tried to do the same thing before blogging, I didn't get the same level of success. When I tried to do the same thing with affiliate marketing, I didn't get the same level of success. And that's because I was looking at what other people were doing and trying to just do what they were doing instead of doing the thing that God had called and uniquely equipped for me to do. You see, the reason why I've been able to build, by the grace of God, over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube in less than a year was because I was in my bag. I was doing what the Lord naturally designed and equipped me to be able to do. So I wasn't trying to force it. And so you have to look at and take inventory of what the gifts God has given you are, and do your best to do something in that field and give it all you got, right? And so if you heard this and you feel like you're similar to me, and where you're at, you want to be able to have that time freedom and that financial freedom and location freedom, that you have a gift for being able to teach, and you have some sort of experience or who that you know that you can use that experience to help other people to be able to avoid those mistakes to get to where you were able to go, then creating a course could be the thing for you. And so if you want to know in specific the 3 steps that I use to be able to create a course that enabled me to replace my income, to be home, to now travel and make 100K a month working 5 hours a week, I teach my exact framework in the free training below, and you can access it right now. So remember that this isn't about copying my exact business if it's not for you. This is about discovering your calling, your gifts, your who, and your how, and then actually committing and doing the work, knowing that God is going to be with you every step. And so that's how you make 100K a month or more as a Christian. It's not by accident and it's not by luck, but by obedience, by clarity, and committed action. So which of these 3 steps do you find it hardest for you to overcome? Is it figuring out who to serve? Is it figuring out how to serve them? Or is it just deciding and committing to do the work? Comment below and let me know. Subscribe for more content like this, and thumbs the video up if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you in the next one.